Bueno, y en este caso recuperamos una antigua sección, la entrevista internacional de la semana, que ha sido realizada por nuestro showrunner, Luis Kramer, y es una entrevista a Gregory Kershaw y Michael Dweck, codirectores del documental Gaucho Gaucho, que se estrenó este jueves en nuestro país.
Bueno, estamos aquí con Gregory Kershaw y Michael Dweck, los codirectores del documental Gaucho Gaucho. Hi, Gregory. Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you. We are here recording the interview based on the film you co-directed. Can you tell me how was the idea? How were you inspired in filming a story with the gauchos here in our country?
We were both Gregory and I have a personal interest and experience in Argentina. I'm married to an Argentine, and I have family in Argentina, and I've been going there for, I don't know, almost 30 years. Gregory also has spent a lot of time in both Central and South America, making films, documentaries dealing with communities and that deal with environmental issues. And we're both always looking for projects and communities that are keeping their traditions alive, that are very close to their animals and close to nature. And we started to talk about this project probably 15 years ago. We've been working together 16 years ago. So we've been talking about this from the very beginning. We just had to find the community that really was Gaucho Gaucho, a community that really existed and still, kept their traditions alive, keep the traditions of the Gaucho alive with song, with their clothing, having their own animals, and their spirituality kind of being the same as it was for generations. It just took a long time to find that.
Okay, so the name of the documentary is a very good decision, in my opinion. It was a matter of reinforcing the concept of being a gaucho, right? What do you think about that?
Well, when we started the community, we're always, all of our film, when we started the filmmaking, all of our filmmaking, it begins with a curiosity, and for us, it was really to look and find the real people behind this mythology of the gaucho. And we started exploring the community, and we very early on we heard people saying Gaucho Gaucho. He's Gaucho Gaucho, and it meant that person is a true gaucho. And we came to understand what being a true gaucho means. It means it's somebody that holds on to the traditions of the gaucho. They work in the fields with the cattle. They wear the gaucho clothing. They know the gaucho songs. They live by the gaucho code of honor. And as we were filming more and more, we realized that being Gaucho Gaucho also meant somebody that held on to their freedom, which is something that's very unique in this modern world that we live in, where there's so many forces of technology and that are pulling you away from freedom. And so to be Gaucho meant to have all that, meant to hold on to your freedom in the modern world. And that really became the North Star for everything we were doing, to find people in these communities who were Gaucho Gaucho, the true gauchos.
Okay. Tell me, please, how was the process of selecting the actors that are in front of the camera?
There are no actors. These are gauchos.
I know, but they serve as actors for the purpose of the film.
Well, they serve as their characters, but they're no, I guess, when you say actor, usually that means there's a script that they're following.
Because I think that they are also playing different characters, apart from the fact that they are gauchos in real life. Don't you think so?
No. I mean, we spent 2 years in this community, and it took us quite a bit of time, to find a community that was Gaucho Gaucho. And what you're seeing is, we're filming them over and over and over again over a 2-year period of time. So we get to know them very well, and there are rituals they follow, right? They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner a lot at the same time. They do it a lot in the same place, and we spend years filming that. And a lot of times, really nothing happens, right? Nothing doesn't. You know how gauchos are quite shy. Sometimes
We
something
call the
happens, and
death time, right?
we're fortunate. Yeah, yeah. So we spent time looking at different communities. We looked at gauchos in Patagonia, but there wasn't really a community there. There were really gauchos that worked on their own with sheep, and that really was of interest to us because it's not a community. Then we looked at Corrientes, and then we ended up in Salta because Salta really still had this gaucho community intact, especially in this town called San Carlos, where we spent time in San Carlos, in Guachipas, and Chiquana. Those are the towns where we really focused, and we just took us a long time to really earn their trust. And we also don't bring a camera in. We spend time with people before we even bring a camera in, like weeks and weeks and weeks. Drinking mate, drinking some wine, having a lot of asado. We kind of had we had to become they have to become part of our family.
It takes a lot of trust on their part to we're two foreigners, and we start we enter into their community, and they invite us in, and we're incredibly grateful for the kindness that they showed us, and just the warmth they showed us, and also just the sharing their stories and sharing the beauty of their world. And this place is it's so remarkably beautiful, especially Michael and I, we both live in cities. He lives in New York City and I live in Stockholm. And when you arrive in these communities in Salta, it's like an otherworldly beauty. And the way they ride, they have these beautiful guaramantes, which are these big pieces of leather that protect their legs. And when they're riding their horses through the desert, I mean, it looks like they're flying. It's a beauty that's almost unimaginable that can exist on this world. So we also have just tremendous gratitude for being invited in and getting to share their world. And our hope is to be able to kind of share all this incredible beauty that we experienced with the world.
And why did you decide to film in black and white?
Our process of filmmaking really is quite intuitive. We don't go into any film with a story or any preconceived notions about a place. And when we spent the weeks and weeks and weeks just trying to immerse ourselves in these communities, at some point, we were testing different things, different ways of filming, we looked at color and black and white. We don't call it black and white, we call it beauty scope because we think it's really beautiful. So we at one point, we shoot with a digital camera. At one point, we turn, we turn the viewfinder so we can see in black and white instead of color. And to us, it made the world seem quite magical and quite timeless. And it worked. It's just like the way the music works. It just seemed it clicks and it works, and we just stayed with that the entire time.
You named the music. It was another topic that I wanted to talk with you. This is a very good selection of different songs and music and score in general. How was also this process of selecting this variety of songs?
Yes. The music process is very similar to the process that Michael described, where we landed on black and white, and all of our filmmaking is very intuitive. Everything we do is based on feeling, and we don't come to a project with preconceived ideas of what it should be, what it should look like, or what it should sound like. And it's spending time in the world, experiencing the world, and finding a way to transmit what we experience in a cinematic form to an audience. And it leads us to very unexpected places. I mean, the film opens with gauchos riding across a mountainous landscape to French opera. And then, we have great Argentine pop, and we have other folk music through that is pulled from throughout South America that we use. And each of those songs, it was experimenting, finding an image and just putting different music in front of it, music that we love, music that we heard while we were making the film, and waiting for some sort of magic that happens. And what happens is it transports that image into a piece of cinema for us, a building block of cinema, and each scene is a building block for the story. And there's great music like from Los Gatos, La Balsa, which is, it's just, you can't hear that song and not feel overwhelmed with joy. And that's how we wanted the audience to feel, especially when they're leaving the film. So we chose that. But it's always about finding a song that can transform an image and lift it into being something entirely new.
By the way, you talk about the opening scene, and it's a very beautiful one because it's very hard to distinguish between the gaucho and the horse. How was the idea of creating it?
Well, that scene was between like a horse whisperer and his horse, and his name was Nene, and we spent a lot of time with him, and he was saying to us, how he really becomes one with a horse. He says, I take a wild animal and I want him to really be my partner. And he said, well, part of the process is that I sleep on the horse, and at some point I try to match my, the heart rate in my neck to the heart rate of the horse on its neck, and we become one. And I sleep there for hours, and I do this for days and days and days, and we filmed it for days and days and days. We spent quite a bit of time filming that scene, but it was so beautiful to start a film that way because it's not only full of surprise, you start understanding the love that they have for their animals, and you realize, you start to realize this idea of freedom that the gauchos have, that they're one with their animals, they're free in nature, they're really have a life that's very connected to the outdoors, and that was very important to us as the film moved forward. But that was a good opening scene. It was just completely, the rest, everything was unplanned, like the horse's head coming up and down, and then the dog coming back and sniffing. It was. I mean, we couldn't script that.
The movie was part of the international Sundance film. I think that there was the international release of the documentary there. How was the reaction of the people towards this new approach to the gauchos here in Argentina from a couple of directors like you?
Yeah, well, the Sundance premiere was amazing, and we had an incredible reaction from the audiences there, and I think people are, when they see this film, they're inspired to see a different way of life. They're inspired by the people that we film that live lives that are just so deeply connected. They're connected to the land, they're connected to community, they're connected to traditions. They hold on to all these things that the modern world is kind of taken away from us. And I think when people experience the magic of life like that, they're really transformed. So the audience, I think we had a very special reaction from the audiences at Sundance and Locarno and all the other festivals that we played. And Sundance was also particularly special because two of the gauchos that were in the film, Guadalupe Gonza and Tati Gonza, they came to the festival. And we finished the film just 3 days before it screened there, just enough time to send the DCP there. So it was the first time that anybody except Michael and I, our sound mixer, had seen the film, and it was the first time that they had seen the film. And we were very nervous at Sundance because we wanted them to love the film. I mean, we make these films to celebrate these communities that we think are so special. And more than anything, it's important that they love it. And they did. They were very moved by it. And then, of course, we've also brought it to Salta to show everybody that was in the community the film too. And they seem to be very happy with it, which is the most important thing for us.
Because after Sundance, we showed it at the Locarno Film Festival. And I don't know if you're familiar with that festival, but it's at the Piazza Grande. It's the largest screen in the world. They only screen one film a day for 8 nights, and it was seen by 8,000 people. 8,000 people got to see this beautiful world that they really weren't familiar with. And then now it has a life. Now it's going to be in cinemas all over the world. We have distribution all throughout Europe, all throughout Scandinavia, all throughout Asia, all throughout Mexico, Latin America. So it's it'll be a huge cinematic experience. And also, we really get what we wanted, which is to share this beautiful community with the world, which very few people know much about.
And finally, the film contains a lot of beautiful scenes. What if you have to select one of these incredible shots? Which one will you select?
I say they're all like our children, and you can't select one over the other. They're all to us. We love them all. We really do. We really do. We love them all equally. Otherwise, they really wouldn't be in the film.
Yeah. Well, each shot. We shoot these films also. It's 2 years of filming, and we were on the ground and they're filming for over 150 days, and we're looking for moments of magic, and it doesn't always happen. And there's a lot of things we shot where, for whatever reason, the image didn't come together. There wasn't, what we were filming just didn't have that spark. But what we try to do is, in the editing process, is just take those moments of magic and string them together into a narrative. So really, as Michael said, every film that is in the shot for us, it's kind of a little miracle.
Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you good luck with this movie.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. If you want to see it on a big screen, I think you watch it at home. But if you want to see it on a big screen, it's going to be at Cinépolis a week from today.
Yes.
So you can see it on the big screen. It'd be great to experience it in the theater.
Okay. I hope the film will be very, very enjoyed very, very much for the spectators.
Great.
I wish it will be very, very a big success here in our
country. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.